All right, today we're all going to become text detectives. Seriously. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to look right past the words on the page and figure out what an author is really getting at. We're about to learn how to spot their unique angle in pretty much everything you read.
Okay, just picture this for a second. You've got this brand new, ridiculously spicy chip. The person who loves heat, they're going to call it exhilarating, maybe intense, flavorful. But the person who can't stand spice, they're going to say it's agonizing or just plain painful. See, it's the exact same chip, but the words they use paint two totally different pictures.
And that right there is the secret to everything. The words we pick are like a direct window into how we see the world. And guess what? Authors do the exact same thing. Every single thing you read is coming from someone's unique point of view.
So this is what we're hunting for. It's not just about the facts an author presents. We're trying to figure out the lens they're using to show us those facts. It's all their beliefs, their personal history, their values, everything that makes them, them.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to introduce you to your new detective toolkit. Then we'll dive into decoding language, listening for tone, mapping out the structure, and then we'll wrap it up with a final challenge. Let's do this.
Okay, every good detective needs their gear, right? So let's open up our brand new Author's Perspective Toolkit and check out the 3 essential tools you're going to need to unlock any author's real angle. And here they are, just 3 simple tools. First up, we've got language choices, the actual words the author picks. Then we have tone, that's the author's attitude about what they're writing. And finally, text structure, which is all about how they organize their ideas. If you can master these 3, I'm telling you, no author's angle will ever be hidden from you again. Let's grab our first tool and get to work, decoding the language. See, words aren't just their dictionary definitions. Nope, they carry feelings, ideas, and little bits of emotion with them. And that's where we find some of the biggest clues. Take a look at this passage about technology. As I read it, just listen to the specific words the author chooses. In our hyper-connected world, we are constantly bombarded with notifications and digital chatter. How do those words feel to you? Positive? Negative? Something else? Okay, now let's pull out those words with some real emotional weight. We've got bombarded, chatter, shallow stream, digital noise, isolated. Oh, when you line them all up like this, the author's perspective becomes crystal clear, doesn't it? They're not just describing technology, they're showing us they're really worried about it.
The incredible Maya Angelou once said, "Words are things." And she was so right. They aren't just empty labels, they have weight, they have power. Every single word an author picks is a deliberate choice to build a very specific idea or feeling inside your head.
All right, time to pull out tool number 2, listening for the tone. This is all about figuring out the author's vibe, their attitude. Are they excited? Are they worried? Are they being critical? Let's find out.
Now, check this out. We've got 2 passages on the exact same topic, space exploration. Passage A calls it a breathtaking victory and humanity's destiny. Meanwhile, Passage B calls it a colossal waste of resources and a risky gamble. It's the same topic, but the feeling you get is completely different.
So how do we actually describe these attitudes? Well, that's where a tone words bank comes in super handy. For that first passage, you could say the tone is enthusiastic or admiring. And the second one? Oh, that's definitely skeptical and critical. Having these kinds of words ready helps you nail down an author's attitude with total precision. And we're back to Maya Angelou, because this is just perfect. People will never forget how you made them feel. Tone is exactly that. It's how the author wants you to feel about a subject. Inspired, worried, annoyed. That feeling, that's the tone. Okay, on to our third and final tool, mapping the structure. For this one, you got to think like an architect. The way an author actually builds their argument, what they show you first, what they say for last, that is a huge, huge clue to their perspective. So, let's look at this text here. It kicks off with this really warm, cozy description of the past. But then, you see that word? However. That's like a giant flashing sign telling you a big contrast is about to happen. And look at how this is built. The author isn't just comparing 2 things. By starting with this amazing, positive past and then slamming it against a negative present, they're making a really powerful argument. They're screaming that we've lost something important. In this case, the structure is the message. And now it is your turn. It's time for the final challenge, reading between the lines. You've got your toolkit,
You know about language, tone, and structure. So let's put those skills to the test on a piece that seems neutral, but might not be.
Here we go. It's a short little news report about a new skate park. Now, on the surface, it looks pretty fair, right? It seems to be showing both sides of the story, but is it really balanced? Let's use our toolkit and find out.
So, put on that detective hat one last time. I want you to analyze the language, listen for the tone, map out the structure. What is the author's hidden viewpoint on this new skate park? Okay, detective, did you find the clues? Let's break it down. First, language. Did you notice the difference between a small, grassy field and what it's being replaced with? Then, instead of community picnics, we now have large groups of youths who will now congregate. That word congregate just sounds a little more threatening than, say, gather, right? And finally, the structure. The author mentions the good stuff first, but they give the last word to the negative concerns. That's a classic move to leave the reader feeling a little worried. All these clues point to an author who's pretty skeptical about this whole thing.
And that's really the big idea here. Every single text has an angle. Your power as a critical reader comes from knowing how to use this toolkit to find it every single time.
And let me leave you with one final thought. This isn't just about becoming a better reader. It's about becoming a much more powerful writer. The next time you have to write something, think about it. How can you use word choice, tone, and structure to get your own perspective across? The toolkit is all yours now. Go use it.